Hey guys, today we're gonna watch I Saw Something Terrifying in a Chuck E. Cheese's. Turn up the volume. And adjust my headphones. Just gonna skip the intro. This is by Creepypasta Jr.
I've been working at the local Chuck E. Cheese's for a little over a year now. To sum up a Chuck E. Cheese, it's pretty much a building filled with various games and activities for children to enjoy.
Right.
Arcade machines, ball pits, even colorful tunnels that children can play and crawl around in. It's basically a nightmare for people like me.
Yeah.
I'm not too fond of children, to be perfectly honest.
They're kinda cute from a distance, but once the screaming starts, I usually want to bash my own skull in. Why would you work at a Chuck E. Cheese's if you hate children, you ask? Well, a few reasons, actually. One, it was one of the few places in town that was currently hiring at the time.
Yeah.
Two, the pay was actually decent. And three, I got to work the night shift. I was a nighttime janitor. I would show up around the end of the day and instantly be greeted by the numerous shrieks of children. I would go to my spot in the back room and wait for the building to close before starting my work. Unless something immediately required my attention, like a kid vomiting up 100 pepperonis in the ball pit. That's pretty much the low end of the job. Throughout the night, my tasks include sweeping, vacuuming, mopping, clearing off tables, stocking napkin containers, and the like.
Yep.
If the children that
All
day
the
were
janitor
terrible
stuff.
little imps, I could get my work done in about 2 hours.
Yeah.
One time, a kid actually climbed onto a Chuck E. Cheese robot and tried to feed him pizza. An entire pizza.
Jeez.
That took me a lot longer to clean. Why parents never watch their kids is beyond me. The easy nights are the ones that make the job worth it, though. Because after I'm done, I could just kick back in the office and watch TV until my shift is over.
Yes.
Well, a few weeks ago, I had just finished my duties for the evening when I heard a strange noise. It sounded like a muffled thud coming from somewhere in the building.
Oh.
At first, I thought it was something in the back room that had fallen over. But when I checked the area, nothing was amiss. The noise only happened once, so I thought nothing of it. A few days passed by, and this night I was cleaning pizza sauce off the ceiling.
Jeez.
That's right, the ceiling.
Ew.
When I heard that sound again, it sounded exactly the same as the previous night, but this time it was much louder. I searched all over the darkened building, checked the arcade games, the stage, the dining area, but I couldn't find anything. I was starting to grow concerned about the noise, because if something did fall or break and I didn't take care of it, my boss would be pissed. Still coming up empty-handed, I finished my shift and went home. The following night, I didn't do any of my tasks at first. I simply set up a chair in the dining area and waited. I'll admit, sitting by myself in a Chuck E. Cheese's at night is pretty unsettling. Now,
would
I'm
be.
not sitting in the pitch blackness, mind you, that would just be silly. Depending on the area I'm cleaning, I set the lights to dim, then turn them off when I'm finished. I would love to keep the lights on all night, but I did that once and got yelled at for it. The boss said something about electricity cost, which seemed odd to me, but I didn't question any further.
Shouldn't
You
question
might be
stuff.
asking, how would he know? Security cameras. And since they are dated, and since I'm not very good at editing security footage, I just dealt with it. Anyways, I'm sitting in the dining area, and after about an hour of hearing nothing, I decided it was time to actually start working. Walking to the utility closet is when I heard the sound. This
Ooh.
time it rooted me in mid-step. I knew exactly where it was coming from. The noise sounded from below my feet. This was strange because I never knew this building had a basement.
I didn't know Chuck E. Cheese had basements.
My curiosity was piqued at that point. So I spent the remainder of the night looking for the entrance to the basement. After looking through all the doors, I began to think that the building might just have a simple crawl space and some critter had gotten stuck under there. Just as that thought crossed my mind, I passed by the skee ball and coin pusher game. In between the two games, I saw it.
Oh?
A slight discoloration of the carpet. A faint square outline in one of the floor panels.
No, thank you.
I was actually shocked that in all my time working there, I never once noticed it. I had
Oh,
vacuumed
good.
that area multiple times. As I made my way over to it, I once again thought about the fact that my boss never mentioned it to me. Me, the janitor. Someone who should know the area so I can clean it.
Have a clean
Upon
the
reaching the
basement.
outline in the carpet, I retrieved my trusty pocket knife and gently lifted the hatch in the floor.
Oh.
When the hatch opened, I was immediately hit with a wave of stale air.
Oh.
Have you ever walked into a building that had very poor ventilation? Or like an attic? It was like that. It wasn't necessarily a bad smell, but enough to warrant a moment of acclimation.
Jeez.
Inside the hatch was a small wooden ladder that descended into the darkness.
Jeez.
I pulled out my small LED flashlight I keep on my keychain and looked inside. The ladder went down for a few feet, and the walls were made of coarse concrete. I was beginning to feel uneasy as I looked aimlessly into the dark of the hatch.
Let's just go back upstairs.
Then I heard it once more. A soft thud, but this time it echoed off the concrete walls. I was positive at that point that I had located the source of the noise. I climbed down the rickety wooden ladder, and the farther down I got, the more the odor of the room began to change. The staleness of the air started to take on a more metallic characteristic. Upon reaching the bottom, I found myself in a narrow corridor that went on for only a few feet. Making my way towards the end of the hall, I saw that it opened into a large square room. Upon stepping into the room, the scent once again changed and started to take on a foul, sour odor. What I saw in the room gave me chills.
Oh.
The walls had various symbols painted on them in a deep crimson. In the middle of the floor, there was what seemed to be a ritualistic circle of some sort,
Oh, no.
painted on the floor. Just then, movement caught my eye. I shined my flashlight towards the back corner of the room,
Picture's fading.
and that's when I saw it. Eyes glinting in the darkness from my flashlight. But these eyes weren't alive. They were glossy and vacant. They resided in the skull of a young boy. A young boy whose body was completely eviscerated. But that's not what terrified me. It was the creature feasting on his legs that caused my body to seize. I was unable to see what it looked like as it had its back to me. But it was hunched over, and its back looked reddish, like exposed muscle. Then, I heard the thud once again as the creature dropped the boy's leg onto the floor. The thud echoed throughout this room. Hearing this sound snapped me out of my trance, and I realized I needed to get the hell out of there and call the police. I ran back through the corridor as fast as I could, and just as I reached the base of the ladder, the hatch above me slammed shut. Panicked, I climbed up the ladder and attempted to force the hatch open. Then I heard a new noise coming from behind me. It sounded like shuffling. I was too terrified to aim my flashlight down the dark corridor to see what was making the sound. Instead, I frantically began punching the hatch. On my third punch, the hatch flew open and I managed to scramble my way out. Just before I made it out, however, I could have sworn I heard something whisper.
No, please.
Immediately, I kicked the hatch shut, ran outside, and called the police. About a half an hour later, they showed up along with my manager,
Half an
and I
hour.
explained the whole ordeal to them. They were, of course, completely skeptical of everything I told them. I took them inside and showed them the hatch. But when the police investigated it, all they found was a small storage room with miscellaneous boxes and items strewn about it. The police told me I should get some more sleep before coming into work. My manager scolded me after the police left and even threatened me with a drug test. I started to actually believe my mind fabricated the whole event.
Jeez.
Until yesterday, when I was browsing the internet and came across a news article. It was about a boy who had gone missing about a few weeks ago. the day after his 10th birthday. As I stared at the photo in the article, I felt my throat tighten. It was the same little boy I saw in that room being devoured. I have a pretty good idea where that kid had his birthday party at.
Jeez.
I'm not sure if what I saw was real or not, or if I'm actually insane. But regardless, I don't think I'm going to keep this job much longer. So kids, be careful if you ever go to a Chuck E. Cheese's. And parents, always keep an eye on your children. You never know who or what could be watching them too.
That was honestly pretty good. Let's go to a video because I can't find the original. Bye. By Gator Martin.
Walks to me and
Just know there is cussing in this video, guys. So if you don't like cussing, then you can click off the video if you want.
Sup? I have no popcorn, but I have peanuts right here. What the fuck? Come on. Okay, that kind of threw me off a little bit.
Chuck E. Cheese's, known as a place where a kid can be a kid, isn't as innocent as people make it out to be. Sure, it seems.
What the fuck was that? Hold on. I just heard something pop. See, that's that shit. Okay, let's
go.
starting already.
Seems like just another arcade place for kids, with a creepy robotic mascot band on the stage. But unfortunately, I got to experience it. I got to experience the truth, the horrible truth behind Chuck E. Cheese. During the summer of 2006, I was about to be a senior in high school and I needed some extra cash to buy a car. So I decided to look for a job.
Oh.
I searched the newspapers daily for any job openings anywhere.
Oh.
But I found more news stories about missing teenagers
Jeez.
than I did job listings.
Fuck.
It was a strange time. My parents didn't want me going out anywhere, and most parents kept their children indoors at all times. It was the 6th missing teenager that month. It was in the paper, on the news, it was everywhere. They all seemed to be either 16 or 17 years old. I came from a small town in Pennsylvania, but these disappearances brought a lot of attention to our town. However, these reports didn't stop me from going out to look for a job. I lived about 10 minutes away walking distance from a big strip mall that had a Chuck E. Cheese in it, and when I was applying to some stores in that strip mall, I noticed that the Chuck E. Cheese had a help wanted sign on the door.
Jeez.
So I went in to apply. I asked the employee standing by the entrance for a job application, and without responding, he called for a manager. A man, probably in his late 40s, walked to me and greeted me, immediately asking when I could start. He didn't even interview or talk with me.
I'd walk
Just
out
basically
immediately.
offered me the job right away.
I
No.
don't like shit like that. At all. Like, if I'm looking for a job, and I'm coming from another job that was, that was a pretty good job, and they interviewed me, and then I quit that job, or somehow I got fired, and I go to another job, and they just say I'm hired right on the spot, something's up. Something's up. And I just want to point it out there, okay? Okay, because I can see where this video is going, and I just want to say that right now. Okay, alright? Cool. We cool? We on the same page? Peanut, we on the same page? I wish I could see. Oh, he's looking at me. Oh man, shit.
This shocked me because I had never heard of a job that didn't require some kind of interview. I told him I
Right.
could start work immediately. The man told me to come back the next day to be trained and to receive the employee uniform. I left the place so excited I didn't even think about how weird it was. I had just gotten a job. Now I could save up for a car before school starts. It wasn't until I got back home that I started to realize how strange it was that I was spontaneously offered a job with no interviewing. They basically just hired a complete stranger. How did they know if I was qualified or able to do the job?
Cause that's that
I
shit.
imagine that they were just really short-staffed and decided to
Nope.
just be happy I got
What
the
he
job.
said. What Martin just
That
said.
night, I did some research on what I would most likely be doing as my job. I found out that most new employees would either be cleaning up or dressing as the Chuck E. Cheese mascot. Ugh, great, I thought. I really didn't want to have to walk around in that thing. I went back the next day around 4 o'clock. The manager greeted me and gave me a red shirt with the Chuck E. Cheese logo. He then proceeded to show me what it was I would be doing, which was cleaning tables, sweeping floors, and cleaning and maintaining the robotic mascots. I was relieved that he didn't mention dressing in the Chucky costume.
What do you mean by
I didn't understand
mascots?
What he meant by maintaining the robotic mascots. I asked him what he meant by that, and he explained that sometimes the animatronics get quirky, particularly Chucky.
Right.
He explained that sometimes, even in their idle states, the animatronics get overheated and need to be cooled down, or they might break or glitch. So my job was to prevent that by spraying the fur of the robots with a bottle containing some kind of liquid, probably water. Somehow that would cool down the animatronics or something. I didn't see how that made sense, but I didn't question it. It seemed easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
After showing me all this, the manager asked me if I was ready to start working today. I was shocked, but I was anxious to make money, so I told him yes.
You dick, you
It was only
dumbass.
then that he finally introduced himself as John and asked me for my name. After I introduced myself, he seemed in a hurry to leave. Before I stopped him and asked him if he needed my personal information and worker's card since I was only 17, he chuckled and responded, "Don't worry about that, bud. This job is off the books."
What?
I asked him what I should start doing and when my shift ended. He told me to clean tables for now and to leave when instructed. After this, he stormed out of the building without even saying goodbye or good luck. I stood there, feeling awkward and extremely confused. What kind of job was this? Leave when instructed?
Man.
How long were they gonna keep me in here? And they didn't need any of my information?
Mm-hmm.
I got started cleaning tables and continued to do so for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't so bad so far.
Why are you still working?
Yeah.
Why
I
you
probably
still
would have
working?
left as soon as he
Why
said
is that bad?
this job is off the books.
Okay.
I probably would have left immediately. Just said, I'm out.
No
Nah,
worries, no
you can
worries.
give this job to someone else. I don't trust this.
Ugh.
About an hour into my shift, an employee told me to go backstage and clean up the robots before their show. John, the manager, had showed me the stage earlier, and cleaning these furry robots seemed easy. I filled a bucket with soapy water and brought some paper towels over to the robots. They all seemed perfectly clean, just like I expected. Why would they get dirty in the first place? But I figured I should just do it anyway. I started with the character all the way on the right, the human one dressed like a chef. I rubbed a damp paper towel around its face. Not that it changed much. It looked just as clean afterwards. I repeated this process until I reached the Chucky robot, which was all the way on the left side. This one definitely seemed the most realistic, even to the point where it was really creepy. How could little kids find this shit entertaining? I couldn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from all the other robots, the Chucky one actually seems pretty dirty, particularly around the mouth.
Pause.
So I scrubbed around the robot's mouth with a damp paper towel.
Pause.
It was weird though, this robot was softer than the others. Just as I finished, the robot turned its head to me and opened its mouth.
Oh,
What do you mean?
I'm
I
out.
jumped back and almost screamed
Run.
out loud. I walked around to the other side of the robot to see if its head would follow me. It didn't. It seemed obvious to me right away that the Chucky robot was left on for some reason. I didn't really think much of it after that. After another hour of sitting in that room, I had to resume cleaning up tables and floors while the robots did their show. Besides that, it was a pretty easy and boring night. Eventually, an employee came and told me to go home. I think it was almost 9 o'clock when I left. On my way home, I felt kind of happy. I had found such an easy job so quickly.
Don't
I
say
didn't
it's
mind it
easy.
at all. Most of the shift I spent in that room, watching those idle robots. At the end of the night, I fell asleep pretty quickly.
Something finna happen.
But around 3 in the morning, I woke up to the sound of something coming from outside.
No, you didn't.
It was incomprehensible at first, but pretty soon I could make it out to be a very high-pitched, creepy laughter.
Did I see me jump? I jumped a little bit. I jumped a little bit.
We lived on a really quiet road, and hardly ever was there somebody walking past our house. I felt a bit unnerved, but I got up to look out my window. I lifted the blinds up and peeked out the window. The street light outside provided enough light to see the side of my property, along with the street and the woods across the street. I scanned the street looking to find anybody out there, but nobody. Just as I was about to get back in my bed, I noticed something across the street, by the edge of the woods. It was the silhouette of what seemed to be a big man. From where he was standing, the light didn't reveal any of his features. All I could see was the black figure facing my window.
Oh yeah?
I pulled down the blind and jumped back into my bed.
There you go.
I almost wanted to tell my dad about it, but I didn't want to seem like a baby.
Fuck you mean? Fuck you, fuck what? What? Seem like a baby?
Exactly.
Bruh, if I'm with any of my family members, right, if my mom was still alive and I was living with her or I visited her one day, right, and I just, let's say for instance, I'm walking Peanut, right, late at night, and my mom's in the house, right, and I'm at the usual spot, like right in front of my house, walking Peanut, and I see a black silhouette. I don't see nothing else, right, of a big ass man. Oh, I'm gonna say something. Be like, Mom, yo, Mommy, there's something to roll out. Come on. I'm not about to just go back into the house and act like I just didn't see a big ass man in a far distance that looked like death. You fucking up, baby. You fucking up bad. I just wanna let you know that.
Yeah.
You couldn't be my friend.
Nope.
Fucking creep was standing out there like that. Whatever. They're out there and I'm in here.
Whatever, my ass.
I tried to fall asleep, but for a whole hour, all I could think about was the figure I saw outside and wondering if it was still out there. I finally got the courage to lift up my blinds and check again. He was gone.
No, he not.
What a relief.
Where's he at?
I pulled the blinds back down, and after that, I fell asleep relatively quickly.
Where is he?
The next day, I
Whoa,
went back to work.
how the fuck? Okay, that was weird as hell. That was so Mr. Nightmare does some weird shit in his videos that just makes my fucking skin crawl. I don't know what he does, but he does it almost every video. It's so subtle, but it's just, god damn. Alright, let's...
Around 4. It was weird. That day, when I got there, I noticed that a lot of the other employees were giving me odd stares, like I didn't belong or something. One employee came up to me and told me that I would be watching the animatronics all day. I didn't really have a problem with that. I just wondered why they would need someone to sit there for hours. All they were just robots. The first 2 hours of my shift went slow. None of the robots moved or overheated. I had already finished quote-unquote cleaning them, if I should even call it that, so I didn't have anything to do. I made a note to myself to bring some magazines or something to keep myself entertained the next day.
Alright.
There was no animatronic show that night. I guess they mainly did those for kids' birthday parties. I got
How
no
long?
show that night. Have anything to do. I made a note to myself to bring some magazines or something to keep myself entertained the next day.
Hold on, one more time. Look at him.
Magazines or something to keep myself entertained the
Just look at him.
I made a note to myself to bring some magazines or something to keep myself entertained the next day. There was no animatronic show that night. I guess they really did those for kids' birthday parties. I guess that's why they were all motionless that night. Anyway, sitting around these robots for hours with nothing to do, it gave me time to observe some things. Like how the curtains were covered by some kind of electronically moving wall, and how two of the robots that were sitting down still managed to be the same height as the other robots that were standing up.
Oh, that's weird.
I found them all to be creepy, but I found the Chucky robot to be the creepiest. I've never seen an animatronic that looked so real.
That sitting animatronic thing is actually true if you go to
Giant mouse or rat.
Chuck E.
As
Cheese.
stupid as that sounds, the way it was just facing the curtains with a creepy smile on its face, it made me a bit uneasy. Before I can examine it anymore, one of my superiors came behind the stage and told me to take my lunch break. I asked her what the point of my job was and pointed out that I hadn't done anything. Her response was, "Your job is more than meets the eye."
Oh yeah, bitch. No.
What?
No, it's not. No.
Before I could finish my sentence, she walked away. This beyond confused me. I just thought the girl was a straight up weirdo. Why would I have reason to think otherwise?
Walk the fuck
During
out.
my half-hour lunch, I got a 50% discount on all food from the place, which was nice. While I was eating, another employee, probably in his early 20s, walked up to me and, looking very spooked, said, "Get out of here while you still can."
See, if a coworker, if I'm brand new to the job, right, and a coworker says that shit to me, bitch, I'm out. I'm gone. That's all you need to say, right? That's it. Go, get out of here, please. This is not what you think at all. I'm begging you, please leave. I'm trapped in here and I can never leave. But you can. Go ahead, bruh. Please. That's all you need to say, and I'm gone faster than a fucking flash, bitch.
Before I could respond, he walked quickly to the exit of the building before disappearing for me to never see him again.
Where'd he come
Wow.
from?
There sure are a lot of creeps working here, I thought to myself.
Oh, I ain't creep, that's the truth teller.
What can you expect, though, when they hire anybody that walks through their doors? When my break was over, well, technically my whole job was a break. I never did anything. But when my lunch break was over, I walked back to the backstage. But when I opened the door to enter, the Chucky robot was facing the door with a big smile on its face. I almost fell back from fear and shock, but curiosity made me instantly walk up to the robot and examine it.
What? Why
I thought it was turned off. I gave the robot a few knocks on the arms to see if it would react. The arms didn't even feel like they were made of plastic under the fur.
You know what? That's equivalent. What he's saying, going back to backstage, right? And seeing the Chucky thing in a whole different position from when you left it. That's equivalent to T-Night. You see how he is right now, right? If I was to leave, come right back, and he just pokes it up like this, on his hind legs. Just post it up like, yo, what's up, bro? How you doing? What? What? Bro, I'm gone. Tina, I love you, but I'm shit. How you gonna be posted up like this? But second, before that, he was like, that shit don't make no sense. But you still working at the job. All of this fuck shit, all of this bullshit that's going on right now, all this creepy, weird shit that's going on right now, you're still working at this fucking place. I can't get that out of my head. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? That was weird. I know y'all heard that honking sound. That was weird.
It felt like I was knocking on an actual arm. The robot then turned to face me again. What the hell was up with this shit? This thing was so realistic. I didn't even want to be in that room anymore, let alone for 3 more hours. I thought for a second that maybe it was overheating and spazzing out.
No.
So I sprayed it with the bottle. This only made it more glitchy. Its mouth started to jerk up and down, and its eyes closed. A sickening squeaking sound erupted from the robot. Fuck. So I broke it.
Yep, you broke it. And he's hungry.
The motion stopped, and it opened its eyes again. I wasn't gonna try that again. I went to go sit back down and just try to ignore it. I wanted to get through the shift quickly without scaring myself too much.
Fucking Five Nights at Freddy's.
When I sat down in the chair and looked up, the Chucky robot had yet again turned to face me.
Of course it did.
I didn't like this. They made this thing too realistic. I spent the next few hours sitting there uncomfortably with the robot's eyes watching me. I was thinking about what the girl had said. Your job is more than meets the eye? And that weird guy. Get out of here while you still can? What the fuck does that mean?
It means leave.
That means...
It
you
means
are-
go.
You kick rocks. You give them the boot. Deuces. I'm out. What?
What does it mean?
What does that... I
You
know what it means,
leave, bro.
But you don't know.
You leave.
You playing with your life.
You just dumb.
must,
You are
bruh.
dumb, kid. You are a dumb player. You are just asking to die.
Why is he still working here?
Are they planning on killing me or something? Stupid nerd. He's probably just trying to be an asshole. I checked my watch repeatedly, anxious to get out of there. I was waiting for somebody to come in and tell me that I could leave like the previous night, but nobody came in. It was 10 o'clock exactly, so I decided to just leave. I walked out the back door of the stage and left it open, in case somebody needed to get in there and
Why would you leave it open? That's how they get
Toward
out.
the exit of the building, I realized that there wasn't anyone in sight. Some lights had already been shut. I guess they closed pretty quickly. I was sure there was a manager somewhere closing up, so I felt it safe to leave. During my walk home, I reflected on the whole situation. How fast I was hired, how weird my job is, all the stares from the other employees, and
Oh.
the strange comments people are making about me.
Oh, yeah? Oh.
I started to think, if they weren't going to have a show tonight, why did they need me to come in?
Oh, for
Why
real?
not just turn off the robots? Why did they need me to come in and watch them for 6 hours? What the hell was I watching? I really wasn't comfortable with the job anymore, and decided that the next day I would go in and tell John the manager that I'm not interested in staying.
But...
That night, while laying in bed, I tried to think about other places that I could work. But the thought of the Chucky robot staring at me kept coming up. I don't know why. I mean, it seemed obvious that the robots had advanced interactive technology. It was a little too advanced. That was the last thought I could remember before drifting off to sleep.
Don't
I woke up at
know.
around 3 in the morning again, to the same disturbing laughter coming from outside my window.
Okay. I am so involved, so focused into
Right.
this video.
I don't
So
blame
when
you.
that laugh happened, everything dropped. Everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. I'm not going to elaborate on this, but everything dropped.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I hope you do, cause I'm not saying what dropped, and the fact that I'm stuttering, I'm so fucking nervous and scared right now. Let's get back. I love you.
you laughing at, huh?
The fuck you
This
laughing
time,
at?
it was closer. A lot closer. My heart started pounding in my chest. The person I saw last night was back.
Oh,
Back again, seemingly to harass me. I had to confront this person. So I got on my feet and put my hand under the blind, gathering the courage to pull it up. With one instant boost of courage, I jerked the blind up to reveal it. It was the face of the Chuck E. Cheese mascot, standing right outside my window,
oh
right
shit.
at me. With the same smile I had seen
Check that
in
out,
Chuck E.
kid.
Cheese's. I almost jumped out of my skin in fear. I stumbled backward on something on the floor, causing me to fall to the ground. I barely managed to get back up on my feet. Then, realizing that the face of the window was gone, I grabbed the blind handle and yanked it down. I sat down on my bed to try and comprehend what just happened. Somebody was playing a prank on me.
Prank my
Those
ass.
assholes.
Mm-hmm.
They followed
Prank.
me home and threw a Chucky costume on just to scare me. I knew they were all assholes. The way they stared at me, whispered as I passed by, and the strange comments. I bet it was all that stupid fucking nerd I saw earlier that day. I'm probably some kind of pawn in one big prank. That's why they hired me so quickly. But why? Why me? What did
'Cause
I
you-
do?
You took the
I
job.
decided first thing.
You accepted the job. That's what you did.
In the morning, I would go back to the place.
It's on him, you know? Like, he took this job knowing how weird it was that they wanted him, like, that quick, so...
And give John, the manager, a piece of my mind. I told him I would sue if they continued to harass me.
You're not gonna be there.
That night, I had trouble falling asleep after that.
No shit.
It was probably hours before I had actually managed to fall back asleep, only to wake up early the next morning. I took a quick shower, skipped breakfast, and stormed out the front door, walking back to the Chuck E. Cheese's. When I arrived there were 3 cop cars parked outside, along with crime scene tape covering the entrance to the place. What the hell is going on here? I thought. I asked a police officer what happened, and he told me that one of the animatronic characters had been stolen from the place the previous night.
Oh,
Who the hell would steal one of these things, and how? I thought to myself. It sure didn't seem like a crime scene to me, it just seemed flat out ridiculous. This whole situation, ever since I started at this job, something has been going on. Something's not right with this place,
Yep.
but I did not want to get to the
Now,
bottom
you
of
think
it.
about it.
I just wanted to get away from it. I walked back home and looked up this particular Chuck E. Cheese on Google. Conveniently, there was a phone number for the manager, only it didn't say John. It was some man named George. I thought that was strange, but I called the number anyway. Voicemail. I left a message stating what was on my mind and hung up. I hoped that would end that. Then I realized, fuck, I still have to get paid. I put myself in a
fuck that. That patient. Fuck it. Fuck it, bro. It's not fucking worth it. It's not. It really isn't. You better, they better send you the shit in the mail or something. Don't go.
found out that my dad was working the night shift. My mom was already staying the night with my grandma, who was feeling ill, which meant I had the house to myself. I could have had a few friends over and stuff, but I wasn't in any mood for that. I needed time to myself to reflect on what was up with that Chuck E. Cheese. Who the hell steals animatronics? I mean, I guess they're worth something, but to go through that effort, why not rob a jewelry store or something? Whatever, not my problem anymore. That night, I was ready to call the police if the pranksters returned. I kept my cell phone on overnight next to my bed, ready to dial
Good job.
911.
Good job.
I stayed up late watching TV, dreading having to fall asleep. I watched TV until about 2 in the morning, before finally trying to fall asleep. But I couldn't. My mind was racing. I rolled around in my bed for a good hour, not even remotely tired. My brain was waiting for the laughing from outside, or some kind of knock on the window. So much to the point that I started to become paranoid. I started to imagine sounds like some kind of squeaking noise. I started to imagine seeing things. I thought I could see the silhouette of a figure in the opposite corner of my room. I told myself to stop being paranoid and to just go to sleep. Somehow, I did calm myself down a bit, almost enough to finally fall asleep. I was finally relaxed until...
Don't answer it.
Don't answer that, bitch. Don't answer it.
What the fuck? Who the hell is calling this late at night?
No,
Yo,
don't
mama.
answer it, bro.
I checked the caller ID. It said unknown number. To hell, like I was going to answer that. I put my cell phone back on my desk and rolled back onto my side. I was so close to falling asleep, and now I was wide awake again. I knew I didn't answer the phone because I was partially afraid too. It was probably about a minute or two later when I heard the voicemail tone go off on my phone. The caller had left a message. I truthfully did not want to listen to it. I told myself to listen to it first thing in the morning, but then a sickening thought came up that the call was to inform of bad news of my ill grandmother. I snatched the phone and flipped it open and pressed the button to listen to the voicemail. I heard an oh so familiar voice. It was John, the manager from Chuck E. Cheese.
Shit.
I'm sorry. Truly, this is nothing personal. You have to understand. We needed you. We needed someone. He's getting hungry.
The fuck
He
you
needs
mean?
to eat,
Who?
or else. Listen to me.
Who?
Listen to me when I tell you your sacrifice will not be forgotten. Understand that we only do this to save humanity. We can't kill it. Our attempts only anger it. If we don't feed it, oh God. We never planned on it escaping. We needed it to consume only in the room backstage. Oh God, I'm so sorry.
What the fuck was that? What? This joke has gone far enough. This is completely fucking insane. I have to call the police. I jumped out of my bed and turned on my lamp, anxious to call the police. I dial 911 and raise the phone to my ear. It's only then that I see it. It was the creature. The rat.
Bucket.
It was Chucky, standing in the corner of my room, smiling at me. I hear the 911 operator on the other end, but the phone was already on the ground by that time. I felt my stomach churning inside, my hand still to my ear as if I were still holding my phone. I couldn't move. The creature opened its mouth wider than any creature could and started to slowly move toward me. I was trapped. The only way out was through the window. I pulled up the blind and then pulled up my window. I looked behind me. The creature was just a few feet away from me at that point. I jumped out of my window and ran as far away as possible. A few hours later, I walked back to my house, remembering I had dialed 911, so I expected some cops to be there. I
Good.
was right. My dad's car was in the driveway too. I explained to them that a man wearing a Chuck E. Cheese costume with a knife broke into the house, and he trapped me in my room, so I had to jump out of my window. I explained to them that I had just started working at the Chuck E. Cheese nearby, and that everything was weird from the start there. They assured me that the place would be investigated, and after a few questions, they were on their way. They did send another patrol car to watch the house for the night. The next day, police were investigating the building and made a gruesome discovery. In the hidden room near the back of the place were the dead corpses of 5 teenagers.
Jeez.
All were barely identified as the teenagers reported missing in the news. The place was shut down, but nothing was ever heard from John the manager, or whatever his real name is. After
Good.
that, the creature never returned to my house. I knew something was off with that place from the start.
Then why did you work
Of course,
there?
I had to improvise a bit with my story. I couldn't tell the police that a giant mouse was trying to eat me. But what kills me the most is knowing that the creature is still out there somewhere. And every so often, I wake up in the night and just barely, I think I can make out the sound of high-pitched laughter coming from the woods.
Shut up.
Well, I've never told this story to anyone before. Now you know the horrors that go on in Chuck E. Cheese's.
Oh,
And if you're lucky enough to ever find yourself stuck in one in the future, just remember, that animatronic mouse you see on the stage may be more than meets the eye.
oh, you think?
Alright, that's gonna do it for today, y'all. Till next time. Later.